The dynamite's first explosion ripped through Maria Calderon's morning like a betrayal. She stood on the weathered wooden porch of her family's century-old cabin, watching plumes of dust and rock billowing from the mountainside, with a fury that burned hotter than the morning sun. For generations, the Calderon family had owned these 287 acres of rugged terrain in the Sierra Nevada foothills. This mountain wasn't just land, it was a living history, a testament to her grandfather's resilience and her mother's unwavering connection to their ancestral home. And now, without so much as a courtesy call, the Meridian Infrastructure Corporation had begun their aggressive excavation project. Maria's hands, calloused from years of ranch work and restoration, gripped the porch railing. She could still hear her mother's voice from 3 years ago, just before she passed. "This mountain has secrets, mija. Protect it." At the time, Maria had thought it was just another of her mother's mystical sayings. She'd always spoken about the land as if it were a living, breathing entity. The survey stakes had appeared first, bright orange and harsh against the natural landscape. Then came the preliminary markers, followed by heavy machinery that seemed to devour the landscape. Meridian's project was supposedly a critical infrastructure development, a new highway that would cut through the mountain, reducing travel time between two major cities by nearly an hour. What they didn't know was that Maria wasn't just going to stand by and watch. Her background made her particularly dangerous to their plans. A former civil engineer with a specialty in infrastructure development, Maria had left her lucrative corporate job in San Francisco 5 years ago. The tech world's constant noise and artificial environments had become suffocating. Here, in these mountains, she found peace. And now, a purpose. The first surveyor had been cocky when he arrived. Clipboard in hand and a dismissive smile that suggested he'd seen landowners like her before. "We have all the necessary permits, ma'am," he'd said, not even attempting to hide his condescension. "The state has approved our route." Maria had smiled back, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Permits are just pieces of paper," she'd responded. "Land has memory, and sometimes that memory has a price." Her initial research revealed something the corporation hadn't anticipated. The proposed highway cut through a section of land that held not just geological significance, but potential historical value. Indigenous archaeological sites, potential water resource implications, and environmental impact studies could all become serious complications. But Maria wasn't interested in stopping the project. No, she had something far more interesting in mind. The mountain rumbled again with another blast. Dust cascaded down the rocky slopes, revealing layers of geological history that had remained hidden for millennia. Each explosion was like a wound, and Maria felt each one personally. Her laptop, situated on the kitchen table beside topographic maps and legal documents, pinged with an incoming email. It was from her old engineering network, a contact who specialized in infrastructure development regulations. The message contained something interesting. Detailed information about right-of-way agreements and potential toll road implementations. A plan was forming. Not a plan of resistance, but of strategic transformation. Meridian thought they were simply cutting a path through a mountain. They had no idea they were about to enter a complex negotiation with someone who understood their world far better than they understood hers. The next blast shook loose a framed photograph on the wall, a picture of her grandparents standing proudly in front of this very cabin. The frame tilted but didn't fall, hanging precariously, much like Meridian's presumption of easy conquest. Maria walked to her study, pulled out a fresh legal pad, and began to write. Calculations, potential, scenarios, regulatory frameworks. Her mind was already several moves ahead of the corporate machinery grinding away at her mountain. They wanted a highway. She would give them a highway, but on her terms. The mountain seemed to whisper around her, a silent collaborator in what was about to become an extraordinary battle of wills, infrastructure, and ownership. Little did Meridian know they hadn't just started a construction project. They had awakened Maria Calderon, and this mountain was about to teach them a lesson in strategic thinking they would never forget. 6 months of meticulous planning had transformed Maria's initial anger into a precision instrument of economic and legal strategy. The mountain bore the scars of Meridian's excavation, a massive cut through its ancient rock, revealing layers of geological history that would make any geologist weep with excitement. But Maria's excitement was of a different kind. Her first move had been subtle. She commissioned an independent environmental impact study that revealed 3 critical archaeological sites along the proposed highway route. The report was a masterpiece of forensic research, complete with drone imagery, ground-penetrating radar scans, and historical documentation that would make any cultural preservation board sit up and take notice. The archaeological findings didn't stop the project, but they did slow it down considerably. Meanwhile, Maria had been quietly purchasing strategic parcels of land adjacent to the highway route. Each acquisition was a chess move, carefully calculated to maximize her eventual leverage. Her engineering background gave her an advantage most landowners could only dream of. She understood the complex ecosystem of infrastructure development better than most corporate executives. The day the first section of highway was completed, Maria made her move. Jonathan Reyes, Meridian's chief operations officer, received a meticulously prepared proposal that was equal parts legal document and strategic masterpiece. Maria was offering something unprecedented. She would grant full, unrestricted access to the highway route, but with a catch that would make corporate lawyers both admire and despise her: a toll road. But this wasn't just any toll road proposal. Maria had identified a critical flaw in Meridian's original planning. The highway cut through a mountain pass that was the most direct route between 2 major metropolitan areas. Traffic. Studies she had commissioned revealed that the route would save commuters and commercial trucks nearly 73 minutes of travel time. Her proposal was brutally simple: a privately managed toll road, with revenues split between her company and the state, using a complex leasing arrangement that would make most infrastructure lawyers scratch their heads in both confusion and respect. The first meeting was tense. Reyes arrived with a team of 6 lawyers, project managers, and financial analysts. Maria met them alone in the restored barn that now served as her office, with nothing more than a stack of documents and a cup of locally roasted coffee. "You've created a problem for yourselves," Maria began, her voice calm and clinical. "This highway isn't just a road, it's an economic corridor that you've significantly undervalued." The archaeological sites she had discovered were strategically positioned to require extensive mitigation. Her environmental impact studies meant that any attempt to bypass her would result in years of potential legal challenges. Each layer of her strategy was a fail-safe, a protective mechanism that gave her unprecedented negotiating power. Reyes tried the aggressive approach first. "Ms. Calderon, we have state permits. We can—" She cut him off with a single raised hand. "You have permits. What you don't have is a clear path forward that doesn't involve significant additional costs and potential years of litigation." The numbers told the real story. Her proposed toll road would generate an estimated $47 million in annual revenue. Split between her company and the state, with Meridian receiving a management fee, it was a win-win scenario that was hard to refuse. 3 months of negotiations followed. Maria's engineering background meant she understood every technical detail. Her legal research was impeccable. Each meeting peeled back another layer of her comprehensive strategy. By the time the final agreement was signed, Maria had transformed what could have been a devastating corporate invasion into a personal triumph. The mountain that had been blasted open now bore her mark, not as a wound, but as a testament to strategic thinking. Her mother would have been proud. The first toll booth was a simple, elegant structure, built from local stone, with solar panels and a design that blended seamlessly into the mountain landscape. When the first truck passed through, Maria stood on the same porch where she had first watched the excavation, a quiet smile playing on her lips. They had blasted through her mountain. She had made it a toll road. And in doing so, she had written a new chapter in her family's legacy, one of resilience, strategy, and an unbreakable connection to the land.